everyone, and welcome back to my channel if you're new here. My name is Michala and I make cozy videos about journals, and this is my reading journal. And today I'm going to update it for all of the books I read in July. So let's light my candle. I have my Calm Magnesium Lemon Raspberry Tea, and let's get started. With that lit, let's get started. I have filled this Archer and Olive bullet journal about halfway, I think halfway exactly, and these will be my spreads for July, so I feel like halfway is a good place to be in this journal. I think I'll be able to fit all the books I read in this one journal this year. Okay, so let's move my tea a little bit. I had an idea for something a little different that I want to do. I normally do my cover spreads. I do a main image over here and I list the month underneath, and then I do little frames with my book titles on the right hand page. But I think I will do frames on the left hand page and do a cutout over here for the cover, because I can't do it over here because I have spreads behind this page, but I could cut out something here and do like a window effect. So I have already marked off for the most part where I want to do that because I was playing around with it earlier. But let's just go ahead and mark the rest of it out and start filling it in. I'm leaving a border of 2 dots on my grid all the way around, and I'm marking off where I want this like Polaroid frame to be. I'm just doing this quickly with my pencil so that I have an idea of where I want it, and then I'll do it more precisely with pen. Okay, so I'm thinking the cover to look like a Polaroid frame a bit, if you can see my outline. And I'm going to cut out the center, but first I am going to outline it in pen. Tea break. Okay, I have my 0.5 micron, and I'm going to I've already made a mistake and went over a little bit, but that's okay. I'll use whiteout or something. There we go. There's my frame. And now I'm going to cover up that mistake with some extra paper. Okay, I have this little piece of paper, and I think I will put it right there like that. But first I want to erase any of my pencil lines. There we go. Let's tape down this little piece to cover up that. There we go. And now I got a couple new washi tapes, actually pre-cut sticker tapes from the washi tape shop. I just ordered a few more washi tapes because they have some of my favorite washi tapes and pet tapes. This is a pre-cut sticker pet tape, so everything on here is, you can just peel it off and it's individual pieces. And I thought this was so beautiful and great for late summer, so I wanted to put this piece right here, this big one, in my frame and then cut around it. So I think that is what I will do. Okay, so let's take this sticker. It's mostly one, but that and that flower and that butterfly are separate. Here is an up close of all the different flowers. I love the colors on this set, and there are a few birds. There are a few birds on this roll as well, which I really like. I think they're finches, which is really pretty. Okay, and there we go. There are these flowers, and now I'm gonna try to cut around them. First, let's add this little guy that was right there. I want that added back in there. And I think I will also add back the butterfly that was right above over here. Okay. And with those down, I want to now cut around them. Let's move my roll. I'm going to move my tea out of the way so I don't spill it. And now let's see if we can put this cutting mat behind this page and cut through here. I think the blade on my X-Acto knife is not very new, so I'm not sure if this will work very well. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't find a new blade for my X-Acto knife, so I'm going to try to do this with my scissors and just start in the middle. There we go. There's that cut out. And now I want to paint behind here blue like sky and add in some of the finches or the birds from this same roll. Some of these guys over top. Okay, I have some tape. Let's pin this down and then let's tape. Okay, I have some watercolors here. I think you could do this with markers if you wanted. Because I already have watercolors, I'm just going to use this. And I'm going to try to mix a blue that I like that goes with this washi tape for a sky. And I'm going to start on this little sample. Okay, I already like that. So I'm just going to paint a light wash of these colors in here for the sky. And I want that watercolor kind of look, so it doesn't need to be like perfect. Like I don't want it to be like an even color, really just kind of like, you know, some brush strokes to give it a little more movement in there. Okay, there we go. I think I like that, and now I'll just let it dry. I'm gonna dab a little bit with this paper towel to give it a little bit more texture, and I'm gonna also use it to clean up the paint that got on the tape so it doesn't transfer. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take the tape off while it's drying. And there we have my little window. I'm just going to put a spare piece of paper behind here while that dries, and I'm gonna work over here. I have a couple frames for my book covers, and I'm thinking I will do something fairly simple like that. And I think I will do some flowers around the frames. This roll has several pieces that can go around like a square shape. This shape is kind of like a wreath that goes around a circular shape, so I'm going to use those. Oh, I thought this was 2 pieces, but I guess I can cut it to be 2 pieces, so let's do that. And then I want to put this over here. And I'm going to now peel this frame sticker, and put it right here. Now I want to do this frame, so I'm going to find another one of those square shaped. I'm going to find another one of these where the inside looks kind of like that square shape. And now I'm going to cut it in half. For July, I read 4 books. I barely finished the 4th one by the end of July, but that's pretty good for me. I usually read like 3 to 4. Some months I read like a lot more. Last fall, I read 9 books in October, I think. So I'm hoping I will have another time maybe in the coming fall where I read a bunch of books in 1 month. But for now, I've just been reading kind of lightly in the summer, trying to do a book a week, but sometimes I actually skip a week and then do 2 books the next week. Just depends on what all I have going on. But yeah, I think this is looking really nice. I want to put this circular one, the circular sticker around one of the round frames. I'm trying to get them placed approximately where I want them. This is kind of hard to place down, but we're going to try. Okay, I kind of just let it fall, and now I'm going to put the frame over it. This sticker over here is more of a semi-circle or like a crescent. I think I'm going to use that one for the other circular frame so they're not exactly the same as one another. And again, it's a little bit hard to place, but I'm going to try. There we go, and now I'm going to put this frame over top. I like that a lot. It's looking really nice. Now, before I add too much more, I'm going to go over to this side, move my paper, and check if this has dried. It feels pretty dry. I got a little bit of blue over here. We are just going to not worry about that for now. Maybe we'll cover it. Having a little bit of a hard time with this spread, but that's okay. I'm gonna peel one of these birds. And now let's see, I like that. And now I want to get this other finch over here and put it over here. I think that is looking really good. I love how the birds look against the blue. I don't know what I should do at the back of this page, maybe nothing. You can see the little frames through there. I think I will just frame the sky on this page with more floral elements because they're kind of in the shape of like a corner. So I think they'll fit in these corner areas nicely. That one hangs off a little bit and I'm just gonna cut that. This little flower that maybe can cover up where I messed up in the sky a little bit. There, I like that peeking through a little bit. I think that looks really nice. Maybe I'll put one more up here. A tea break. I think my mug matches my blue sky a little bit. Now, maybe something poking through right here would be nice. So maybe I'll add this one and kind of have like a larger floral area growing up the side. I'll incorporate it with the other floral element over here. That's one thing I really like about these pet tapes with the clear background. You can layer the elements and they look like they go together very easily. So I think that's always really nice. Okay, I cut the excess off. I think I'm going to take a few smaller flowers like this and put them around on the front of the frame to fill in any gaps. This one I think I'm going to cut in half and see if I can put them kind of like over here and over here. I actually like it like this. It's pretty simple, but I'm liking it. Over here, I don't think I'll put anything on this page for right now, but I'm gonna add a few more flowers over here. Okay, I got some letter stickers and I'm going to try to put July right here on this like Polaroid. Let's see if I have the right letters in this pink color. I have a J, a U, an L, and a Y. So let's try it. Let's start with the U. There we go. And there is my cover spread for July. I think that looks really nice. Now I will write in the 4 books I read in these frames. And the books I read in July are Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I read The Love Haters by Catherine Center, The Second Whisperwicks, The Impossible Trials of Benjamiah Creek by Jordan Lees, and I read The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong. So those are the 4 books I read, and let's write them in these frames. That's my cover spread for July. And now I will do spreads for each book. Okay, first I want to do a spread for The Love Haters and Great Big Beautiful Life on the same page, or the same spread I mean. And I want to use this same roll and use these big flowers. I think I will start by just blocking off each page with my pen like I like to do. I'm going to use this micron in the 03 and outline the pages. This page is a little wrinkly from the watercolor on the other side, but I think that's okay. Let's put, I want to rip some brown paper for the edges. No. Okay, I have some of this paper I want to rip and put around here. And this would be upside down, but I could put it over here. Or I might do something like that. I think I will mostly cover up this paper with my stickers, so I'm going to glue this down and not worry too much about like the fact that it has mushrooms and doesn't like go perfectly. I'm just going to glue it down, and I will use a lot of that same floral pre-cut pet tape to go around and tie everything together. I really enjoyed both of these books. I read Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry for book club, and I have only read 2 other Emily Henry books, and I enjoyed them both. I've read Happy Place by her and People We Meet on Vacation, but both had like dual timelines and kind of characters in both of those books that were already in relationships when the book started off, either friendships or friendship in one, a couple that's already together and having issues in the other book. Anyway, both of the books, just those tropes aren't really like my favorites. I did enjoy them. I liked Happy Place more personally, but this book I think has been my favorite so far out of those 3. I really enjoyed. A lot of people have said it's more like literary fiction. I have not read a lot of literary fiction, I don't think, so some people said it's not very romance forward, and maybe that's just compared to her other books, but I thought it was very romance forward. I thought it had a lot of romance. I really enjoyed the romance in it, and then it had a lot of just other plot in it. It's about 2 writers, and they're kind of rivals because they're both trying to get the same gig, which is to write a book about essentially a woman who used to be a celebrity and she's older now. And I thought the book was really beautiful. I thought it was written really well. It was really touching at different times. It goes into the love story of the woman they're interviewing. She talks about her life and her love story. And the main female character and male character are both meeting with this woman to see who she will pick to write her memoir. I guess it's a memoir. I'm not sure if it's like a biography or a memoir. I'm sorry, I can't remember as well because I read this like a while ago by now. But yeah, I thought it was a really, really good book. I gave it like 4.5 stars because I really loved it. And then The Love Haters by Catherine Center was a really good summer read. It didn't stick with me quite as much as Great Big Beautiful Life, but I really love Catherine Center's writing and her romances. They're so good. So I would definitely recommend both of these books. The Love Haters is about Katie, and Katie is a videographer, and she needs to go get footage of this Coast Guard named Hutch who is out in Key West. So she goes for her job, and Katie gets to know the Coast Guard, Hutch, by making this video for the Coast Guard to recruit more people. And so she has to follow him around and like film him, and she needs to know how to swim for some of the things that they need to film, and she doesn't. So you see her like learn how to swim and overcome a lot of fears and also insecurities because she's kind of insecure about her body. And that's a big thing throughout the book, is her coming to terms with like loving herself. And it was a really fun story. It was a rom-com. It has a bit of comedy in it, and it's also about self-love and how Katie learns to love herself and her body. And she has a really sweet relationship with her cousin in it, who she talks to on the phone a lot, and as well as the aunt of the main male character. She forms a relationship with her as well, and it has like a lot of wholesome, cute moments in it and sweet relationships. So I would definitely recommend it. It was a little more like lighthearted, I guess I would say. Like, it does deal with loving yourself and your body, but I would say Great Big Beautiful Life felt like a little bit deeper and dealt with like grief and like a little bit more serious topics, I guess I would say. But yeah, I really enjoyed both of them. I definitely would recommend. But I read them both very quickly, and I don't have like loads to write about them, so I just wanted to put them on spreads together. I thought the colors were both pretty bold and summery, and I'm hoping to tie them together with this floral pet tape and just like make a spread that I guess complements both books. That's why I like these floral elements a lot, is because they don't lean really heavy in one color palette. They have a good mix. I think I'm going to cover up some of these mushrooms just a little bit, just because they're like a little woodland. I like the paper with the butterflies and the text, but the mushrooms aren't bad, just like a little unnecessary. I kind of want to put these flowers over them. I'm going to get a couple more of these big floral pieces to put around, and I just love how they like layer. I'll cut the excess off, and they both have both covers have a little bit of yellow in them, so I'm gonna put this yellow one over here as well and try to layer it kind of like to look a little behind the paper. I think that's looking good. I think it doesn't need to be anything too crazy. I think I can find one of those square. I'm gonna find one of those square frames again and put it around like the corner of both books. Okay, there we go. There are neighbors screaming outside, so sorry if, like neighbor kids, they're just playing. But sorry if you can hear that and if it's distracting. I think I will place the floral elements in the corners, in the furthest part of the corner over here, and the part that overlaps the book I'm cutting off. There we go. And same for over here. I will put this over top and cut off any excess, or like cut off this little part that overlaps the book. Okay, I'm gonna cut off the excess. There we go. And now this side. Something I really like about Catherine Center's books is they're very kind of fun and fast-paced and interesting, and usually not like overly serious. So they're a fun time. And then I'm still pretty new to Emily Henry, so if you have another book by her that you think I would like, let me know. I would like to read more by her. And if you also read Great Big Beautiful Life, let me know how you liked it and how it compared to her other books in your opinion, because I know people had kind of mixed feelings about it. Okay, let's put on my star rating stickers. Peel. I'll just put this one above. And there we go. I really like how it flows in between them. I think I might add like a little butterfly or moth around, like this one, cute. And then add it like maybe over here. And then this little butterfly, add over here. Push, push. I think I will add this pink flower down here just to fill this out a little bit more. I'm going to try to peel up the leaf of this other one and put it on top of this flower because I like the leaf. I feel like it'll blend it in more. There we go. And this video is not sponsored, but I really love these pet tapes from the washi tape shop. That's why I ordered more. If you saw my spreads in February, I used one pre-cut pet tape roll for all of my spreads for my books in February. They're just really versatile when it's all these pre-cut little stickers that you can use in so many different ways. Okay, and now with those done, let's write about each book. I got my Muji gel pen in 0.5 and let's write about them. I rated Great Big Beautiful Life. I gave them both 4 stars on Goodreads, but I kind of want to give Great Big Beautiful Life 4.5 stars. I just really enjoyed it. I will say some people said it was kind of slow, but I listened to it on audiobook and was trying to get through it quickly because it was for my book club and it was meeting in a few days and I hadn't finished it, so I listened to it at like 1.5 speed. Like I worked my way up to that speed and it didn't feel too fast for me to understand or anything, but that probably made things go by more quickly because if I was reading it and it got slow, I might have felt the need to put it down. The audiobook would keep going anytime I felt like maybe it was getting a little slower. I would just continue with whatever I was doing while listening to it and it would just go through it pretty quickly, if that makes sense. I feel like sometimes if you're reading it physically, you slow down at the slower parts or maybe even put the book down, but I just didn't do that because it was being read to me. I could just keep doing whatever I was doing, like coloring book or puzzle, and listen to it, and I feel like that worked out well for me and I didn't think it was too slow. Alice Scott is the main female character in this book, and the book takes place in Little Crescent Island, which is near Savannah, Georgia, I believe, because they talk about Savannah every now and then in this book. And she wants to write the biography of this woman named Margaret Ives, who used to be like a tabloid princess because she was the daughter of a really famous family, and they kind of had a tragic story in the family. Different things happened, and so she kind of hid away, and our main character, Alice Scott, found her and wants to write her biography. But Margaret has invited Hayden Anderson, Pulitzer Prize winning writer, to also kind of feel out if she wants him to write her biography. So they're competing against one another. Yeah, it was overall a really good book. I really liked it. Both of the characters are writers and they're very tall. And so they have a lot of these like cute moments where they sit at tables and their legs keep touching under the tables. Overall, I just really loved the story and the characters. So I really liked this. So something about this book is that because they're writing about Margaret Ives, the chapters alternate and some of the chapters are about Margaret Ives telling her story. So when it's those chapters, the main two characters aren't in it because it's Margaret Ives telling her story. But I personally enjoyed that. So it's kind of like two stories in one. It really is a book about writers and writing. So I think if you like that, you would really like this book. And there's that book all written about. And now let's write about Love Haters by Catherine Center. This I gave 4 stars. This book, like I said, this book had a lot to do about learning to love yourself and also being brave. I feel like the main character, Katie really has to learn to be brave and overcome a lot of different fears. She's afraid of swimming, of being in a bathing suit in front of people, and different things like that, and has to overcome these fears and all the while get to know the main male character and pursue her job and hobby interest in videography. She also does like YouTube videos that are kind of like documentary style, and I guess because I make YouTube videos too, I thought that was really fun to read about. And both of these books had pretty summery settings, and I feel like would be perfect to pick up at the end of summer if you are interested. I would definitely recommend Catherine Center if you want like a feel-good story. I would say her stories always lean a little more wholesome, a little more lighthearted, at least the ones I've read, and I've read like 4 or so, and I've really enjoyed them all. Another one I really like by her is Hello Stranger and also The Bodyguard. There we go. And there is this spread all filled in. And now we can move on to the other 2 books. Okay, it's actually the next day because I ran out of daylight and I needed to get some other things done. And it's much sunnier today, so if the light is different, that is why. And the sun keeps going in and out of the clouds, so hopefully it does. But hopefully it looks okay. So next I'm going to do spreads for The Teller of Small Fortunes and the second book in the Whisperwicks series. I think I will do the Whisperwicks next. And I'm hoping to use these other washi tapes I got in my order from the washi tape shop. I've already used them a bit, but they are all from this butterfly collection. This one is a roll of stamps with butterflies. This one has kind of unique stickers. I used a bunch of them. Let me try to show you. Like garden stickers, more butterflies with flowers in them, and that kind of thing. And I thought the color palette went really well for summer because after this month I'll probably be moving into more of like autumnal spreads, but I thought this would be a good chance to use some of these new butterfly rolls. The third roll is just butterflies, and I use butterflies all the time, so I'm hoping I can use these in a lot of different spreads. Let's see. So here you can see a bunch of different butterflies, and I love, again, the pre-cut sticker rolls, and this is more of the washi tape look than the pet tape, so it's a little softer. I'm hoping to make a really pretty spread with these washi tapes, and I want to use some other butterfly ephemera, I think, and maybe take up a lot of space because I don't know how much I will have to write about either of these books, to be honest. I've just had some family things come up this month and have had to deal with a lot of different things, so I'm kind of just wanting my reading journal to be especially easy and just fun. Nothing super difficult or anything, so. Okay, I like this, and that could be in the middle. Let's see if it goes with these other butterflies, though. I definitely think they're both butterflies, but they're a little bit different artwork. So maybe I'll just use brown paper and use more of these. This book is the second in a series called The Whisperwicks, and there are little moths that you can't really see that are glowing on the cover. And the book is very whimsical, magical. It's sometimes compared to Harry Potter, although I would say it's fairly different. But it's very magical, and it is middle grade. And it's just like a really cozy series. It deals with some harder topics for being middle grade, but I think the way it's done is really mature still, and I think you would enjoy it even if you are not middle grade, hence why I'm reading it. The series follows Benjamiah Creek, and he finds his way into this other world through a bookstore door. He goes through and finds his way to this other world where everything is a labyrinth. And so the first book deals a lot with how the world is set up and how a lot of people get lost in the labyrinth and can never find their way back. And he goes on adventures with Elizabeth, and they go looking for her brother in the first book. And in the second book, he goes through different trials. And I don't want to spoil anything, this being the second book, but if you have read this first book, I would definitely recommend the second one. It was just as good. I don't know, maybe a little less good. I'm not sure. I definitely thought both of them were very good. I gave the first one 5 stars because it was just so different and new. And now, obviously, being the sequel, I'm a little more used to the world, but I still thought it was very engaging. There were more characters in this one, and I thought they were all done well. And I thought the trials that Benjamia faces were very whimsical. Some of them were eerie. Some of them were more like fun, magical type of thing. But yeah, overall, it was a really good book. I would definitely recommend. I gave it 4 stars, and I'm thinking there are moths in this book that glow, and although these are not moths, I'm thinking I'll go with that kind of, I don't know, magical moths and butterflies. Let's see if I can rip some of this for the corners. I do still want to leave some space to write, but I'm thinking I want to take up a good amount of the space with like being overrun with these moths and butterflies. Okay, I think what I might do, I don't know, I'm still thinking about what I want to do. Maybe I will just skip this for now and just use a bunch of these butterflies, like a lot. I think that might be the look I want to go for. Okay, I have my Tombow, this is new to me, glue tape. I'll put this down. Ooh, it works much smoother than my other brand ones, which I don't even know what brand my other ones were. Just something from Amazon. This I got at a stationery shop. And I might use some of these larger stickers, like this one in the corner, and then have, let's see how it looks, and then have a bunch of butterflies like coming out kind of around it, if that makes sense. And now let's put a bunch of butterflies. I'm kind of working bigger to smaller. I'm liking that a lot. I think I will put some dark green washi tape around the edges. There, I think that makes everything look more tied together, and I think I'll add a few little butterflies over here. Okay, I'm going to tape down my book cover. I'll add a star sticker. I'm liking that a lot. I think I'm just going to add a few little like sparkle things with my Tombow pen. This is the color 098. There, I think that helps tie everything together. I'm gonna add a few more over here. And now I will write about the book. Let me clean up my washi tapes a little bit. Okay, I gave this 4 stars. Something I love about this series is the magic system. In the Whisperwicks world, everybody has a little puppet. They wear it on their hip and they can cast it like a spell of sorts. but their puppet is kind of its own person. It's alive, and it can take forms of different animals depending on how skilled the caster is. But it's not like there are some people who have magic and some don't. Everyone in this world has a little puppet doll thing, and it's connected to their life. Like, if the puppet dies, the person dies. And that part is a little grim, but the rest of it, like how the magic works and how they cast their puppets, is really interesting. And I really just like love the world and how whimsical it is. I pre-ordered this book right after I read the first one, if that tells you anything. I read the first one this time last year, I want to say, and I checked to see if there was another book in the series, and it was coming out July of this year, and I pre-ordered it. So if that tells you anything about how much I liked it, and then I already read it, or it might have come out in June, but yeah, I read it right away. Something I like about middle grade books, or at least this one, and I've noticed Harry Potter books do it, is that they catch you up on what happened in the last book, but in a really like fluid, non-weird way. So I didn't have to reread the first one. It had been a while since I read the first one, but I didn't have to reread it because the book does a good job of reminding you of everything that happened and just kind of fitting in, yeah, the snippets of the story that you might need to remember. I feel like it did a good job with that, and I appreciated that because I don't always have time to reread an entire series, or in this case, just one book before I jump into the second. There we go. Here is this book all written about, and now we can do our last book. So the last book I read was The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong, and this book follows our main female character, whose name is either Tao or To. I looked it up, and I think you say it To. It's Tao, but To is a teller of small fortunes. So she has ability to see fortunes, but she is wary of it, and you have to kind of follow along her story to figure out why. She keeps to telling smaller fortunes as to not use too much magic and to kind of go under the radar, not cause a fuss, not get too much attention. And she really keeps to herself. And as the story unfolds, she runs into a mercenary and a thief who are working together to find a lost girl. And she becomes friends with them. And over time, she joins their mission to find this lost girl. She finds other friends. She meets a baker. She gets a cat. And you see kind of this ragtag group of unlikely heroes, so to speak, come together to essentially find this girl. And along the way, you figure out more of Tao's past and why she is hiding and was always keeping to herself. So I liked this book, but I will say I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. This book is cozy fantasy, and the other cozy fantasies I've read I thought would maybe be boring, such as Legends and Lattes, for example. I thought it would maybe be boring. I usually like things with a little bit higher stakes and very plot forward, I guess. But I really liked Legends and Lattes and found it very entertaining, even though it was a cozy fantasy. But this book is definitely cozy, but I thought it was a little slow at parts, and I did not care about the characters as much. It was still good and had some interesting parts that I won't spoil, but overall it was not my favorite. So I still want to make a spread though, and I think I will just take up a lot of room, maybe on this whole side of the page. I want to use some of these stickers somehow, but I also might do a bunch of florals. Is my other idea, is do a bunch of florals all on this page and pretty much take up this whole page. I think that is what I will do. I want to put a little paper first so that I don't have so much to cover. Maybe I will embrace this paper after all and maybe rip it a little. Rip through it. I think I'm actually going to use something like this that's a little more plain as opposed to the butterflies. Okay, I think I like that look. Let's try it. Now let's start with some big flowers. I ripped this one a little bit, but I still want to use it. And now looking for a few smaller ones, like these bunches of flowers. I'm gonna cut this stem, cut. And I think I just really love this set, and I'm gonna use the birds too. Maybe this one more. Well, I guess because I said I don't have that much to write about the book, I could take up some more room. And then this larger bird, put this larger bird over here. Get this little flower and add it up here. Okay, let's tape this corner down a little better up here. And I think I will just draw a little border, maybe in my yellow color. Okay, let's try it. Draw, draw, draw. Okay, there's a little border up top, and let's tape the cover down. I like how this turned out. It doesn't really match the cover as much as I normally try to, but I think that's kind of nice for a change. I kind of sometimes just want it to look summery or like the season we're in, and I think it does still go with it. Here's a star sticker. There we go, and now let's write about the book. I gave this 3 stars, like I said. It was not my favorite cozy fantasy. I definitely could see why some people like it though, and it was comforting and cozy and had like good descriptions of food, as a lot of cozy fantasy does. And so there are things I liked about it for sure. And I didn't dislike anything, but it wasn't really keeping my interest. But I would still recommend looking it up and seeing if you would like it. If you tend to like comforting and cozy things, you might enjoy it. Okay, and here we have this book all filled in, and I ended up writing a good bit. I think sometimes it's good to write about books, even when they aren't your favorite, when they're ones you rate a little lower. It's nice to keep track of what I liked and what I didn't. And here's this spread all filled in. That's my last book that I read in July, so let's flip through all of the spreads. Here is the cover page, which I kept pretty simple and focused on this detailed Polaroid cutout. Here is behind. Here is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry and The Love Haters by Catherine Center. Here is the second Whisperwicks book called The Impossible Trials of Benjamiah Creek by Jordan Lees. And here we have my last book, The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong. Overall, I'm really happy with these spreads and how they turned out. It is really nice when I can get a washi tape roll or two to kind of do several spreads with, because I feel like they just look cohesive and they fit this current mood of late summer. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these books and if you like them or what you thought about them. And I would love it if you are not subscribed, if you would subscribe and stick around, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.